Welcome to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast.
I think that this world, it needs men that are willing to make the hard call.
Central Maine's best comics podcast, by default.
Ain't no thing like me except me.
Here are your hosts, Zach and Jared.
Maps come with me. No. When do we start?
Welcome back to the Editor's Note Comics Podcast, the only show where you're going to find some news on the internet.
That's not true at all.
How was your 420?
It was.
Did you smoke the dankest weed?
I did not partake in the devil's lettuce.
Stickiest? Is that
the devil's lettuce? Yeah.
I don't even know. Sticky. That's a term, right?
Sticky. Yeah, the sticky of the icky. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
That sounds familiar. I don't know. I don't know anything. It's not a part of my world.
No, I did not do any of the green bud, the dank. No, I didn't even have Bud Light on that day.
I wouldn't even know what to do anymore.
On 420?
I mean,
I do the same thing I do every other stuff.
I feel like everyone
get
who
up,
smokes
do my
weed,
thing, and
everyone who participates in 420 is also doing the same thing. They do every day.
Exactly. It's a holiday that air quote holiday, but it's a holiday that people are doing something they already do. It's not like it'd be more impressive if they didn't smoke on 420. Thanksgiving special because you don't have big turkey dinner all the time. People who rip green bud all the time, it's not like they're not going to be doing it on 420 anyway, or 520 or 620.
I'm so oblivious. I wouldn't even know what to do. I'd have to assault a teenager on a street corner and be like, hey, I'll have one to go.
I believe that would be a really poor way of going about it. Isn't it? There's the herbal medicine store just down the road from the shop. You could pop into
my glaucoma.
Yeah, I could poke you in the eye and be like,
please don't.
There you go. You need to go and have some healing properties from the eye gouge.
Was this like the Three Stooges excuse to get in?
I'll do the little around the world thing and just bonk you on the head. You should have had some sort of special, the Green Lantern comics are
Doctor Strange sale.
Doctor Strange. That video that was sent to us via Twitter of the Doctor Strange clip of the guy dressed as Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah,
with his two buddies.
Yeah, that's funny.
He's opens the door to the grocery center with his hands, even though it's motion controlled, and his buddies are like, "Oh!"
I'm on sick time. I've been sick all week, so when you're talking about a thing that happened 5 days ago on Twitter, it feels like 3 months ago.
Well, I feel like 520 was 6 days ago. 420. 520 is in the future. It hasn't happened yet.
I don't even know.
I was still sick. I was still overcoming the illness that had me worn down and caused the podcast to be a day late, and I was drinking hot tea and Gatorade during the podcast. And
on Friday and Saturday, I was totally out of it. I had someone call me on Saturday and say, what time do you close? I gave him 4 different times before I finally came to the conclusion what my actual closing time was.
Yeah, thanks for the confusion.
That's how he was like, what time do you close? I'm like, 5, 6, 7. It's 5. Definitely 5.
But if you try 6 and 7, I still might be here, passed out
I don't
in
even
a pool
know.
of my own filth.
What time is it? That's how out of it I was. I didn't even know what time I closed on Saturday.
That stuff was nasty. I probably helped bring it to you, didn't I?
I was already fighting it before then. It just picked up pace.
You can't fight this feeling anymore? I've been to your house 3 times in the last 7 days.
Have you?
Yeah, we had the podcast last Wednesday. We watched our movie on Sunday, and here we are on Tuesday.
Oh, I forgot to show you the thumbnail.
Oh, for this week's podcast?
Yeah.
Please be the duck tits. Yes! I knew it. This movie is rated PG. I'm glad that you chose that, and I like the use of the Editor's Note comic sign there to censor the lady duck's breasts.
We'll get into that soon. But speaking of getting into things, let's get into the news.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
It's time for the news.
This is going to be a rough news week. It's like every other story is going to be just release dates, so I'm going to try and sprinkle them in. We're going to do 2 news stories, release dates. 2 news stories, release dates. Going to try and make it flow, make it smooth.
Well, by telling us what you're going to do, you really don't have
Bring it in like a river.
Like a raging torrent river that's about to flood, or like a drought-stricken river. Or an actual nice, gentle, flowing brook.
Whatever will bring you release dates at a even pace instead of all at once.
Okay. Get your calendars out.
All right.
Get ready to circle off some dates here.
All right. 1, 2 dates. Let's do that. Okay. Hey, you know what a fun Star Wars story is? Because we can't have a week without Star Wars news.
Is it about like the Mark Hamill, Gene Siskel interview from the 80s?
No.
Okay.
You know what I missed in the trailer?
What?
What I did in my whole trailer breakdown? I missed a thing.
What'd you miss?
Kylo Ren's scar is in a different location than it was in The Force Awakens.
Do you think he got another scar?
No, the director came out and said what it was.
Oh, well.
So in Force Awakens, he gets slashed like right up the face, like across his nose.
Didn't Anakin's scar in Revenge of the Sith end up on a different side of his face for like one scene?
Not that I'm aware of, but I believe it.
Probably.
But now the scar is just over his eye, and the director came out. He's like, "Oh, I have an answer for that. It looks stupid in the middle of his face.
Well, there you go.
So I just moved it over."
Fair enough.
Oh, okay. Continuity. To hell with it.
Yeah. Who needs continuity anyway?
Like I think JJ was going for kind of like a more monstrous look, and then he was like, "Nah, we don't need that monster. We need someone with like a badass scar, a cool eye scar,
like Anakin Skywalker had."
Yep, they're similar, but they weren't at first.
The plot thickens.
It thickens right into this casting news.
Oh, okay. Yes, please.
And by casting news, it's not really casting news. Joss Whedon was interviewed on, I think it was the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 premiere, and he was being asked about Batgirl and casting. He says that his goal is to cast an unknown for the role and not do a name actress or actor, depending on how you like to refer to yourself. How do you like to refer to yourself? Are you an actor or an actress?
I'm an artist.
Okay.
I'm a performer. Actually, I feel like performer is like a euphemism for stripper, so.
You know what? This happened to me a couple of weeks ago. It just kind of like hit me randomly.
A stripper?
Yes, a stripper hit me.
Oh.
I didn't tip enough.
Hey, you know, if that's what you're into, man, then by all means, you know, if you want to pay people to get naked and beat you.
There was actually nothing in the champagne room.
Except for beating and self-loathing.
God, that's a dated reference.
I actually had listened to that for the first time in a long time the other day.
Okay. No, I was thinking I put out 2 shows a week. There are people out there who listen to my dumbass ramblings for 2 solid hours a week.
I've been listening to your dumbass ramblings for multiple years.
At least a decade, maybe 2.
Well, we're well into the second decade of listening to Zach's musings, and I'm no dumber for it, so it must not be that bad.
But yeah, that's what we got. So Whedon's going to be casting an unknown for Batgirl, if this thing actually makes it. Considering how many directors DC has lost, I'm not super confident that this will actually make it to screen, but we'll see.
One can only hope.
All right, that's 2 stories. Time for some dates.
Bad dates.
You know what? I'm going to go with medium dates to possibly bad dates to good dates. That's what I'll do.
Oh. I like
Actually, this might be bad dates.
Okay.
Let's see.
Bad dates.
So,
what movie?
What 3 movies?
Oh, I was asking what movie that line was from. Bad dates.
No Ticket. I don't know.
Yes, that is same franchise.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Same franchise.
Yes, it is.
It was Raiders. Bravo.
Well, screw it. I guess I'm going to switch my news around then. Because Indiana Jones has a date.
Oh, there we go.
I was going to do that one last. You made me do it first. No, Lucasfilm came out today with 2 dates. Indiana Jones 5, directed by Steven Spielberg, still starring Harrison Ford, July 2020. He's going to be like 74.
Was it like Indiana Jones in the Bottle of Ensure?
Look, when Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out 2008, half that movie was like old man jokes. That will be a 12-year difference.
Maybe here. Let's play a crystal ball for a second. I'm gonna guess
Crystal Skull.
No, but we can gaze into the Crystal Skull. My guess is in this, he's not gonna be like the central figure. It's gonna be like,
of course he is. He has to be.
Indy's replacement.
No, they're not gonna do that again. That was a big old misstep.
Maybe Indy dies.
Here's what I'm worried about with this movie.
The fact that it's coming out in 2020 and Harrison Ford's gonna be well in his 70s.
He's already well into his 70s. My issue with it is this going to be the tipping point? Like,
is this going to be?
Well, no. Is it going to be the Terminator Genesis? Because before Terminator Genesis came out, we had you could say Terminator is a good franchise. We had a 50-50 record. We had 2 good, 2 bad. You could still say good franchise.
I'd say that Indiana Jones is 3 for 4.
I'd say Indiana Jones is 2 for 4.
2 for 4?
I don't like Temple of Doom.
I like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I'm giving it 3 for 4.
It's still bottom half. I wouldn't call it good, and I'm not. And we've talked about this many times.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not a detractor of the movie, but I'm not. I don't like fully support it, but I'm not like it's the worst thing ever. I'm like,
it was the B serial movie that George Lucas had been wanting to make.
It was taking place in the 50s. It was a 1950s B movie. It was no longer the 30s, and I don't think people were very accepting of that. That being said, it wasn't a very good B-1950s
And the Russians,
movie.
the Russians weren't very good villains in that movie. The Nazis, everyone can hate Nazis.
Yeah. But yeah, so July 2020 is the official date. The other date they released, and I was surprised at this one,
Yes.
Star Wars Episode 9 has a release date
Oh, really?
of May 2019.
Ooh. Well, that's right. 2 years from 17, so yeah.
Yeah.
A May release.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not doing a Christmas one.
So it's only
I
gonna
mean,
be
good
a
for me.
year
Like,
and
we're going to get
a year and a half in between instead of 2 years.
Well, I imagine we're probably going to get the Han Solo movie at Christmas instead.
Yeah.
But I was just a little surprised they weren't doing a Christmas release. It just seems to make sense from like a, hey, buy all of your kiddies Star Wars toys. But, you know, if they get to Star Wars 6 months earlier, great.
Maybe just to, it's the nostalgia. It was always a Memorial Day weekend release.
Yeah, but yeah, May 2019 is going to be Star Wars Episode 9.
All right.
Closing out the new trilogy. We still have a ways off. We're going to have Star Wars news every week up until then.
All right. We have, at least the show can make it to 2019 with Star Wars related news.
I never thought about that. We really have no way to get out of this.
The show?
Like, unless we have like a massive falling out, which at this point seems unlikely.
No, considering how badly we treat each other and we're still hanging out.
But stop. Because we do a topical like weekly show, like we don't have a reason to stop.
Well, there are plenty of people who did like a weekly show that hated each other forever and ever and ever. I'm sure.
I'm sure.
I mean, we don't hate each other by any stretch of the imagination.
No, we have heart necklaces that combine.
They do.
I mean, you've been trying to give me mine for 12 years, and I keep on saying no.
Well, I mean, at least we have
I won't wear the half.
We have it.
So 2 more news stories, then some more dates. One of the all-time...
One night I will slip something into your drink, and you'll wake up with that heart necklace on, and you won't know what to do with yourself.
Where are you going to put it?
Wouldn't you like to know?
One of the most critically acclaimed horror series, and also a main connection, written by Joe Hill, Stephen King's kid, who everyone knows is Stephen King's kid now. He can kind of drop the Joe Hill thing.
Thank you.
We know who you are. But he wrote a series...
It's Richard Bachman's son.
Yes.
I know what's up.
But he wrote a series, I think this started in 2007. It has 5 or 6 volumes, I don't remember off the top of my head, called Lock and Key. One of the best damn horror series out there. And it's had a bit of a back and forth over the years, but it finally, officially has a series order. It had a pilot that happened a few years back that's total garbage. You should not look that up on the internet.
But you will anyway.
Don't. It's no good. Read the books. They're great. Maybe we should do that this October. That's like our only open slots for the year is October.
That's my birth month. It should be a month of shows celebrating me.
It'll be a month of horror. I just haven't decided what horror books we're doing yet.
What was our last October's theme? We called it something.
I think we didn't come up with the name.
No, we had trouble
I think
coming
we
up
failed.
with we had trouble coming up with the magical November.
I don't remember now.
Because that's when
I'd go back and listen, but
because we talked about Harry Potter and we talked about Doctor Strange. It feels like a long time ago.
Was. But yeah, Lock and Key, great, amazing series. I highly recommend reading it. It's pretty small and self-contained, but they finally have a series order, which is good. Speaking of things with a series order, actually, there's a lot of that in this new series, too.
Has somebody picked us up nationally?
No, I haven't reached out to anyone in a while. I probably should.
Oh, okay.
X-Files is back, baby.
Really?
Did you watch the last limited series?
No, I did not.
It was really good. They only did 6 episodes. They weren't all...
When you live by yourself in a house in the woods in Maine, you really don't like to watch like that or like unsolved mysteries.
Not every episode was great. There were a few that were really strong, and they only did 6, and they left it at a point where it was like, you really need to do another one. And they're going to come back and do another miniseries, which is amazing. I like the X-Files a lot.
I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a good show when it was on. It was always like, the music freaked you out a little bit, and the truth is out there, Zach.
I have too much of a cold to do the theme. I tried and failed.
Well, yes, I just know my limitations. You do not.
Whatever I think, I always just think about that Simpsons episode. As much as I enjoy the X-Files, I always go back to that Simpsons episode of them watching Homer on a treadmill. What does this test accomplish? Oh, nothing. I just thought he could stand to lose some weight. Look at the way his fat goes. It's mesmerizing. Oh, and that great sign says die, and then the wind blows, it says diet, and Homer screams even more. It's such a good episode.
Yes.
Oh, man. Sorry, that's a great one.
You're getting nostalgic.
Episode. Sorry. I could have it over there.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, X-Files is coming back, baby. Was that 2 stories? That was 2 stories. More release dates.
Ooh, yes, please.
I didn't time this out. I don't know if it's going to work perfectly.
Oh, well.
Avatar has moved its dates yet again.
Backwards or forwards?
Backwards.
Oh, boy.
The new dates for Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5, because they're shooting 4 movies at once.
Yes, we've discussed this.
2020, competing with Indiana Jones.
All
Actually,
right.
no, just because they're in the same year.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Pandora.
2021 for Avatar 3.
Yes.
Skip a couple of years. 2024 for Avatar 4.
Oh, they're building in a buffer year in case they need to push back.
And 2025 for Avatar 5.
Man, 2025, that's...
This series started in 2009. There's been no follow-ups.
And they're going to just go 4 movies in, 6 years?
Still the best grossing, highest grossing movie of all time. There's no reason to doubt that they'll make money. I know a lot of people have turned on the movie. I like the world building. I understand some of the criticisms about it, but I still think it has amazing world building.
Yeah, it's really good world building, and Disney's involved.
Look, I
so
get that there's an
gonna
issue
be
with the
some-
white man coming in and being the best one of your civilization. That's a little bit of an issue.
Yes.
Culturally, that's no good.
No, we don't do well in that department historically.
But man, that movie does amazing world building. I love that world. A lot of the characters are terrible cliches and dumb, but whatever. I still, I don't care. I like it.
I just wonder what
I'm not
they're
saying
gonna-
it's perfect.
I
I'm just
wonder
saying
what they're
like
going to do
it.
over the course of 4 movies.
Who the hell knows?
Jim Cameron.
Finding more unobtainium. That was a dumb name for a mineral, by the way.
Unobtainium.
It's like a motorcycle term.
Yes,
But
it's
yeah.
also like saying you can't obtain this. It's unobtainable. Unobtainable.
Next time they'll be finding the friend zone.
Oh, hey, listen, I could tell you all about that.
The
and-
friend zone's not real.
Oh, you lie. I know all about the
No,
friend
there's
zone.
no such thing as the friend zone. There's only the I don't want to be with you zone.
Listen,
There's no such thing as they were such good friends. I don't want to sacrifice that. That's not real. The I'm not attracted to you zone, and that's real.
Is that why you wear my heart necklace?
Yes.
I figured it out, you jerk.
2 more stories. You know who's in Guardians of the Galaxy? I'm not going to say where, because I don't want to spoil any characters.
Didn't we say that Sylvester Stallone is in it?
Stallone's in it. We don't know his role.
Yes.
And I've avoided spoilers for this movie. I don't know what he is. But this one, it's not a super spoiler. I'm not going to say who it is. But there is a voice role only. Miley Cyrus is in it.
You just said who it was. You were.
Well, I
saying-
didn't say the character.
Oh.
I'm not going to say who the character is.
Is she going to come to this movie like a wrecking ball?
No, I think she's not in it very much.
Oh.
She's more like a surveyor,
Ah. All right. Well, we'll move on from that.
doing less demolition.
Oh. More of like an appraiser.
But yeah, if you hear a voice actor in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 who is a lady, it just might be Miley Cyrus.
Well, there you go. You learn something new every day.
A new series order, and I couldn't... This is the thing I'm worried about for the future, just in general of entertainment. More on the TV side. I know we've talked about it a little bit with Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, DC is going to be moving towards a subscription-based service for shows. Like, right now, they're basically just on the CW. I feel like Gotham's on Fox, but they're going to be getting some kind of subscription service, and there's going to be a Titans show.
So like a DC network where you can just like log on and watch.
Whatever it is. Right now, they have 2 shows that are going to be on there. There's going to be an animated one, Young Justice. I think that show went for 2 seasons, and that is a really big fan base, and it got picked up for a 3rd that's going to be on this new thing. I've never watched it. I have no opinion of it. But then there's going to be a live-action Titans. And what Titans is, for the most part, kids' sidekicks grown up. Like, we'll see who's on it, but it's like, Nightwing and Wally West, Flash and Aqualad and Donna Troy, who's the Wonder Woman teen sidekick. It's mostly the teen sidekicks grown up on their Justice League B, we can call them.
Okay.
But the idea of a paid subscription service, I'm afraid of a lot of people doing this. I have Netflix. I'm like, do I need Hulu? Probably not.
I think that.
So I don't know if
see...
everyone breaks off and CBS is talking about doing it with Star Trek. If everyone's breaking off, I feel like it's already next to impossible to watch TV as it is.
I think that
there's so much content in so many places, but with all the specific paid subscription systems, I think it's going to limit what people are able to watch.
I think that's part of it. I think it's also be real interesting to see how much advertising seeps into that, because if you're paying to watch this specifically and there's also advertising sprinkled into it, you can definitely see how that might make people upset. It's interesting. The model, the subscription, like the over-the-top subscription model is being piloted, and it seems to be decently successful with WWE, with the WWE Network.
I know nothing about that.
They have an over-the-top subscription service, and they kind of create their own programming, plus they'll have like monthly specials that used to be like, were you into wrestling as a kid?
Never.
Oh, no? Well, they like would have like monthly pay-per-views that you'd have to like.
I know. Yeah, I remember that.
But they do that now on their own network. I like occasionally will like watch or pop in, and I read a lot about the network when it came out, and it has fluctuating subscription numbers because you're paying also for like access to an archive as well of like all old shows and pay-per-views and things like that. Plus, they have some new content weekly as well, but you're really paying like for access to the archive, and it doesn't seem to be the most financially successful.
I just think if there's too many out there, it's gonna. I mean,
I think if
now I have Netflix. I don't have cable, so there's a lot of shows. Well, not a lot. I don't watch that much TV, but there's stuff that I can catch usually either a day later or 8 days later on like kind of networky stuff. There are 2 shows that I pay for. 3. I lied. There are 3 shows I pay for to get on iTunes.
Better Call Saul.
Oh, we're actually going to list the shows that I get. Yes, I get Better Call Saul, Ash vs. Evil Dead, and Comic Book Man, because it's a literal store about comic book retail.
You mean a show, not a store?
Well, yeah, a show at a store, but yes.
I was going to try and guess, but
sorry.
I was 1 for 3. That's really good if you're a Major League Baseball player. I don't know. I think you're going to
Stars makes me wait until the entire Ash vs. Evil Dead season is complete before I can buy it. Oh, I just want to buy it week to week. Come on, guys.
Get with the program because they're listening to our show right now.
Yeah, Stars executives.
Yeah, and they're gonna change things just for you.
But I can't front money for 1 million subscription services or like 1 million shows. Like I have to limit what I watch.
And I think that is you've hit the nail on the head. What the problem is going to be is that it's going to dilute the market a little bit, and it's going to oversaturate the market, and people are going to have to make decisions. Well,
I like just about every single show on HBO, but I don't feel like paying for it.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, there's a reason why people
Silicon Valley, Veep, hilarious, amazing shows. I'm not going to pay for it.
I mean, that's why I think
that's why I've seen 2 seasons of each.
Yeah, I think you're going to find that this is going to be a problem that they run into, and then also, if you're doing that, you're going to lose advertising dollars, because if you're going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to have this subscription-based service, and then we're not going to have advertising on it. Well, advertisers are going to be like, well, then why the heck would we buy for anything else if you're going to be giving away for bringing in money yourself? I just don't think that the money is going to be there to offset what they could make via traditional broadcast or streaming media that includes advertising.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, that's the thing that's happening with Titans. They're greenlit and apparently going to be on a new DC streaming service. Is that 2 stories? I think so. More release dates.
Release the dates.
In 2018, we're going to get 3 different X-Men movies. Yeah, that face, exactly.
Why?
I know. It's like after Logan, end it. Or 3 more the next year. Why not? We're going to get New Mutants.
Yes.
Which I'm excited for. New Mutants is a great book. It's never gotten the love it deserves. Amazing book. They're going to do the Demon Bear Saga, which is probably the best arc in New Mutants. Go for it. Deadpool 2, which I can understand. And also, I was expecting it. I'm afraid that they're going to have trouble making a different enough movie for me to be interested, but we'll get there when we get there. And X-Men Dark Phoenix.
I don't know.
You already screwed it up once, and I don't really care about this new cast.
Well, there we go. I'm just not sure. Like, I get that Deadpool is really an X-Men character, but I don't know if I'd call it an X-Men movie.
Cable's gonna be in it. He's heavily tied in with the X-Men.
Fair enough. I know nothing about that, so
Cable.
Now I sound like an idiot.
Cable is the son of Scott Summers and a clone of Jean Grey, Madeline Pryor, who was stolen and put into the future, where then Scott and a newly resurrected Jean Grey went to go raise him for 12 years that were brought back, and then as a fully grown adult, after he was infected with the techno-organic virus from Mr. Sinister, came back and was part of a mercenary group called X-Force.
And there's our Cable episode.
There we go. Sum that up. Concise.
Jared's Reading Corner, brought to you by...
Cable's confusing. What else we got? Actually, that 1-2 date thing worked out pretty well, because the only other bit of news we have is Kingsman 2 has a trailer.
Yes, you showed me. It looks good.
I saw the first one. I liked it. This is a Mark Millar book. First movie was very much all about subverting James Bond, and they didn't try and hide it at all. That's what they were doing. Trailer looks fine. I'll watch it when it comes out on Redbox, because there's too much coming out in the theater.
Yeah, there's a lot coming out in theater. Next week, we get to go to the movies again.
Yeah, we're getting there.
I'm going to hide the necklace in your popcorn.
I almost never get popcorn. I did for Kong, because I was like, come on, Kong.
And you were like, you were like pounding it.
It's because it had been like a year since I had had popcorn.
You had a year's worth of supply of popcorn in that movie.
Probably. Like, I'm not the one sneaking in Twizzlers every time.
No, I buy the Twizzlers there.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I mean, stupidly.
The first movie was really entertaining. It was really good. Not like good enough that I've gone back to it, but I really liked it when I saw it. Kingsman 2 looks like more of the same. That's fine. I think it's weird that Julianne Moore got top billing. She wasn't in the last movie. She's definitely not the main character.
That we know of. She could be.
She's
she could play a big role.
She'll play a big role, but top billing.
Yeah, probably not top billing.
She got top billing.
Well,
we saw it.
her role probably is not top billing, but
No.
and she's not the biggest name on the list of people in there too.
Yeah, that was weird.
I would argue like Colin Firth or Mark Scott would almost be as big.
Mark Strong.
Mark Strong.
He's so big, you know his name. Or Jeff Bridges.
Oh yeah, Jeff Bridges also.
Or Channing Tatum and his potato head.
Channing Tatum. I do like Jeff Bridges though. That's
Do you
like.
think he'll have his cowboy drawl? Rawr.
No, maybe he'll be like the dude. I mean, like that's your opinion, man. Such a great movie.
We've talked about it before.
Yes.
But I think that will do it for the news. We're going to move on to a review.
Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret. I'm always angry.
It's time for an Editor's Note podcast review.
Before we get into the review, I want to give you... Oh, by the way, we're reviewing Howard the Duck. I'm sure you saw it in the title.
You may have noticed that. Yes, we did sit through Howard the Duck.
Yeah, I had to pay for that. That cost me $3.99.
You should have paid me for that.
Damn it. I was so like, maybe Amazon Prime will have it for free. No such luck. Had to pay for it.
They're trying to squeeze every last dollar out of people to watch that movie.
But I want to give you some Howard the Duck. This is mostly comic facts.
Yes, please tell me about Howard the Duck.
So the reason we're talking about Howard the Duck in the first place is because he appeared in the post-credit scene of Guardians of the Galaxy. We're getting kind of ramped up for that.
You know who voiced him?
Seth Green.
Yes, attaboy.
Seth Green also has about a half a second appearance in Iron Man 2.
Seth Green also is in a picture over your left shoulder.
That's my right shoulder.
Well, you just looked over your right shoulder, but I'm looking over your left shoulder.
That's true. Me and Seth.
Yes.
At, like, my peak fatness, too. That is a
you're a little pudgy in that.
That was a pudgy face.
Wearing your Mr. Pickle shirt.
Yeah.
That's a classic shirt.
Yeah, that's like peak pudge.
That was max weight.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, so Howard the Duck appeared in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 post-credit scene. I don't know if this is what I want to see, and I don't know if this is a thing. And we know we're getting 5 post-credit scenes. I need one of them to be Howard the Duck. I don't want to see him in the movie.
No, I don't think he'll be in the movie.
For
either.
all 3 Guardians of the Galaxy movies, I just want the continued adventures of Howard the Duck in post-credit.
And that's it.
That's all I want. I think that'd be hilarious.
I don't think we need another Howard the Duck movie.
No. But the character himself premiered in 1973 in Adventures into Fear. Despite what we saw in the movie we watched, she's actually a really entertaining, good character. It's basically like, what if you had like a Looney Tunes character, but without the Looney Tunes logic? Like, you're not going to bounce back from, bazookas or running into a fake wall or whatever. And the character was created by Steve Gerber. And he got involved in about one of the bigger creators' rights cases of Marvel saying, we own the character, it was work for hire, and him saying, like, no, I created it, it's mine. Quite frankly, I fell down a rabbit hole, and I can't understand the ins and outs of this legal case. This would be like a week's worth of research. The short version is Steve Gerber mostly lost, and it got settled out of court. I think in Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, when the post-credit scene happens, and then you see Steve Gerber credited the second that scene ends, I think that has something to do with the resolution of the lawsuit. I'm not positive. Let's say I'm like 90% sure.
All right.
Either way, there's a lot of...
relatively confident. A lot of people make bigger decisions on less confidence.
There's a lot of suing involved and a lot of stuff going on, including Disney getting involved for suing Marvel for the character looking like Donald Duck because he was a talking duck without pants.
Because that's not unnormal. I don't see why he needs pants.
But basically, Steve Gerber leaves Marvel. He comes back a couple of times. And one of the things that he does during the middle of this to help fund his legal costs is he goes with Jack Kirby over to Image Comics and creates Howard the Duck basically a second time. Just calls him Destroyer Duck.
Ooh.
Basically the same character, but with a gun. Destroyer Duck stayed over at Image, but then we have... This is really why I'm giving you background to this character.
Yes.
The greatest caper in comic book history.
Wow, that's a bold claim.
Oh, I love this. So he'd been all done with Howard. He'd been all done with Destroyer the Duck. Gets a call from Marvel. They're like, hey, we want you to come back and write a Howard the Duck Spider-Man crossover. He goes, no, I don't want to do that. But he also got a call around the same time from Eric Larson, the guy who created Savage Dragon. And he said, hey, I want you to do a Destroyer Duck Savage Dragon crossover. He's like, nah, I don't want to do that. But then he got an idea. It's like, okay, I will do both of these crossovers if the crossovers can crossover with each other. So we have these two different crossovers. They both share the same story. And it basically ends with a Steve Gerber created villain, Elf with a gun. Yes, that's his name.
Elf with a gun.
Elf with a gun.
At least he's, you know what he brings to the table.
Magic gun.
A magic. Well, would it be anything else from an elf? I mean, it's straightforward. Elf with a gun. I don't think he's carrying like the Saturday Night Special. I would hope it's like some sort of like
not a cleat. He doesn't have soccer cleats for sure.
Is it like
he just has a gun?
Some sort of like
I'm not getting into
tinsel
Elf
shooting
with a
gun. Does it shoot tinsel?
We're not here for that.
Christmas balls.
But Elf with a gun creates like 1,000 Howard the Duck clones, and they all attack the heroes. And it ends with the heroes beating all the clones, and they all go back to their respective universes. The Marvel one ends with Spider-Man and Howard going off, and things are fine.
Oh, good for them.
But if you read the Image comic one, it ends with Destroyer Duck and Savage Dragon grabbing the real Howard and his girlfriend Beverly, going back to the Image universe, them saying that the one that went back to Marvel was just a soulless clone and they'll never know the difference.
Wow.
So he took his character back, brought him to a different company, then painted him green, put him into witness protection, and called him Leonard the Duck.
That's amazing.
And then he died.
Oh. Leonard the Duck or the guy?
Steve Gerber's dead.
Oh.
But the greatest comic book caper in history.
That's amazing.
Is Howard the Duck.
That's amazing.
So the Howard the Duck that's over at Marvel is just a soulless clone.
Did you also, as I did a little research about it, there was an Amalgam comic.
I've never read it, yeah.
It was like, what did I say? It was Lobo the Duck?
Yep, Lobo the Duck.
Lobo
so
the Duck.
Yes, Howard mashed up with Lobo. And then Steve Gerber went back to write for Howard again over at Marvel, but like I said, Disney was suing them for him looking like Donald Duck, which is why Howard now wears pants, also why he wore pants in the movie.
Yes.
But because they were being sued by Disney, the House of Mouse, Steve Gerber came back and just turned Howard the Duck into a mouse. Because Disney was suing them.
This guy did not give two
Steve Gerber's the best. But I just love the history of Howard the Duck. I
think woke up one day and be like, how can I just totally screw with everybody?
Oh my god, I just love the idea of him stealing a character, bringing it to another company, calling him Leonard, and putting him in witness protection.
I am a fan.
That being said, fun comic book history aside, let's talk about, I can't believe this is real, Marvel's very first comic book movie.
Well, it came after the Captain America TV serials.
Those are movie serials, but those are like not a full feature film.
This is like a
This is Marvel's first feature. Howard the Duck 1986, produced by
George Lucas.
What the hell?
Well, this was not long after, was it 84, he stepped down as the president of Lucasfilm because he wanted to produce more films, and this apparently seemed like a good idea.
This is the worst thing he's ever done.
This was any movie related to Lucasfilm or George Lucas on Rotten Tomatoes, this ranks the lowest. It has a 15% rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
But go ahead, why don't you explain this movie now that I've given you comic facts?
So the movie opens up and we are in a relatively nondescript apartment, but everything is duck related. As Howard the Duck, the protagonist of our story, is arriving home. There's a bunch of in-jokes. As we're watching this, by the way, you were yelling at the movie. You became very disinterested very fast with the movie.
I yelled at about minute 4 at a very specific point. It might be my thumbnail.
No, you yelled prior to that, though.
Was it when he's... so this is a PG kids movie. Was it when he was smoking a cigar, drinking whiskey, or when he got out...
No, he was drinking Duckweiser beer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Or when he got out his copy...
True, it was Duckweiser. Of Duckweiser.
Play Duck to read, in front of the kids.
Yeah, and he pulled out the centerfold, and I thought that was going to be the only...
duck nudity you were going to see?
Duck nudity?
Yeah, you thought wrong.
Thought wrong. So as he's sitting there, Howard's watching the TV a little bit, and then there's some sort of earthquake, and he gets ripped into another dimension. And that means he has to be in his recliner, and he gets ripped through the apartment building, and we fly by, no pun intended because he's a duck, a female duck in the tub with boobs.
Full, like, big
Real
rack.
duck tits.
Like, areola, everything.
Yes.
Drinking, like...
A martini.
I think it was champagne.
It's just, yeah, it's champagne martini. Doesn't matter. This duck...
Go look at my YouTube thumbnail. That's what it is.
She is as naked as the day I was born, and...
It's not like a quick flash.
Oh, no,
like,
it's right
They
on.
hang on this shot forever, like, look at the duck boobs. Those aren't Hooters. Those are Quackers.
Well, remember in the 80s, this is before PG-13 had come out as a rating. It was your G, PG, or R. There was no PG-13. PG-13 wasn't a thing until the early 90s, I believe.
I don't remember.
I'll fact check the show. Hold on.
So yeah, he flies by this lady's nude Quackers.
That's a foul joke.
And he flies out of his universe in his planet that's shaped like a giant egg.
Yes, he was like, all the cities like were duck names, and
Like, we're not going to go through this beat for beat because this is a long-ass movie.
yes.
There's a point where I thought it was going to end, and then it turns out we were, like, only an
Where it
hour
should have
into
ended.
it. Like, oh, it's longer. But Howard
Ratings history.
comes to Earth, runs into a bunch of random situations, ends up hiding in a dumpster, before he comes across Leah Thompson, or in this
Yes.
case, Beverly, who is a comic book accurate character. Well, she's not accurate to the books, but you know what I mean. And Beverly's gonna get accosted. She's in a band called Cherry Bomb.
Which
And
is not just the description of the music, but it was also, well, it's just a description of the music.
But she's about to get accosted, and Howard jumps up, and he's going to fight her assailants with Quack Fu, which is also something from the comics.
Yes.
I can't fault the movie for that one. That's
Well, no, he has
accurate.
no discernible superpowers except for the ability to use Quack Fu.
Beats these guys up, and Beverly takes him home to her apartment.
Yes, like she takes pity on him, and like, by the way, like, first of all, she's not very bright to be walking through this alleyway on her own.
It's just Cleveland.
And-
It's not like this is a...
Yeah, which, by the way, they totally trash on Cleveland right away. Like, Howard the Duck trashes on, he's like, Cleveland makes sense for some sort of strange planet like this. Oh no, Cleveland's the city. So right away, trashing on Cleveland. But we also just, Leah Thompson's hair took 2 hours to do.
It's just like feathered hair. It looks real bad.
Yeah,
It's
like,
re-
how many cans of Aquanet died to make this movie?
Look, you watch this movie for 5 seconds, you're like, oh, this came out in the 80s.
Oh, it's as 80s. It's extremely 80s. Oh, don't forget the what was it? What was the female biker gang? Satan's Sluts.
Oh, yeah, Satan's Sluts.
Yeah.
That was the biker gang. Yeah, for kids,
It
you
was
know.
a female biker gang. Satan's Sluts.
So Howard goes back to her place, passes out, and then she starts rummaging around through his wallet
Oh yeah.
and pulls out...
Well, no. Before that, it's like all like the duck themed, bird themed stuff. But then,
It's like, this is no city for, like, an honest duck and just dumb crap like that. Like,
Oh,
he just
yeah.
throws the word duck in all the time.
oh yeah, we know you're a duck. Which, by the way, more people should have freaked out. Like if the guys like were like gonna assault Leah Thompson's character, and a duck jumps out of a trash can.
This movie costs more to make than Jedi. Do you remember when a quail attacked me and I ran away?
Yes, I do remember this.
Like, if a full-size duck attacked me, I'd run
Exactly.
faster, and I ran away from a quail.
Exactly.
That thing came out, it was mad as hell.
Well, like, yeah, I just remember being in a different part of camp, and I hear you just yell, and I laughed. I doubled over in laughter because it was just like,
So
I didn't
far
know what was
away.
going
Why
on.
is this man yelling from far away? Like, a bird attacked me. It's a quail. Anywho,
That was funny.
but
Mostly because it didn't happen to me.
it charged at me.
Well, it was aggressive.
I think it was near its nest.
I think that Howard the Duck would have been better served staying in the trash can and hiding from the rest of this movie.
But Leah Thompson, or Beverly, starts going through his wallet, and she pulls out, of all things, an unwrapped condom.
Yes. Did you notice it was shaped like a duck bill?
No.
I found that out afterwards. I was reading about it. It's shaped like a duck bill.
Oh, jeez. No, I didn't. I just noticed that he had an unwrapped condom in his wallet.
Yes. It's not a very safe way to save that.
Yeah, she's just like, she gets like all offended. She's like, "Oh,
Howard."
Then just puts it back. Like, why? Why is this
Can we point
unwrapped
out also
condom
like
there?
how dumb her character is of Beverly? A, she like sings in a band that has to play in a caged environment at this bar. Then she walks home through an alleyway by herself, and then takes home an alien duck and rummages through her stuff and thinks nothing of it.
But then I swear to God, there's a scene missing, because the next day they're going to go see a scientist, except he's not really a scientist.
Yeah, but we find out like how she knows him, because remember, he's dating somebody in her band.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a scene missing there, because it just happens. And of all people,
it's Tim Robbins.
It's Tim Robbins. And my God, this is the worst I've ever seen Tim Robbins.
This is one of his early roles, too.
This is like... If Tim Robbins belonged in Police Academy, he's just making noises.
This is the same Tim Robbins who went on to like...
He won an Oscar.
He won an Oscar? He's Andy Dufresne.
Separate movies, but yeah, those things happened.
You know, he got the Oscar for Mystic River.
Did you
ever see Mystic River?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
You know, he was that old crazy man in Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny, and that old crazy man in Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds. Those were both bad performances.
He was also in Bull Durham. He was really good in Bull Durham. Like,
he was also in Green Lantern. Let me think of other bad Tim Robbins.
He was in Green Lantern?
It's real bad, yeah.
Like the one with
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds?
The only one, yes. Howard goes to see Tim Robbins, who's apparently not a real scientist, but he's going to find out about Howard anyway. They leave in a huff, and Howard gets a job working...
at a sex spa, pretty much.
Yeah.
Really
and his
sleazy...
job is to clean up afterwards. Who is this movie for? Because there's all of this weird sexual content, and it's supposed to be like this PG movie. What the hell?
This movie is like
Howard falls into a hot tub. All these people like keep going at it.
Oh yeah, the guy who owns it throws him in, and they're like getting it on the hot tub. Oh, so it normally happens that when I'm having sex in a communal hot tub, that a giant alien duck ends up in it.
So this totally scene with intent and driving the plot forward. Howard quits his job, and we never talk about this again. And then he goes back home to Beverly, where she tries to have sex with him.
Oh yeah, where she's like, I can't find satisfaction here. Maybe in the animal kingdom?
I just want to see a Leah Thompson movie
really
where she doesn't try to have sex with someone she shouldn't.
Yes.
It happened in Back to the Future. It happened in this. I'm out of examples, but it's a list.
By the way, that was probably your best observation during the entire movie.
Don't have sex with a duck.
That may be one of the funniest things you've ever said, by the way. And on point.
Don't have sex with a duck. I don't feel like that's a sentence I should have to say.
Well, it was the 80s, and there were a lot of crazy things going on. But anyway, we move on from this. And
oh, no, it's about to happen. And then Tim Robbins walks in with...
Tim Robbins.
With two other scientists.
And that weird guy from Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Turns out he's a sex offender now for child porn.
Oh, wow.
Gonna bring that right down.
Wow, that derailed everything real quick. That gives some perspective on this movie.
But they just walk in, and they walk into her bedroom where she's trying to seduce Howard. And they're like, the door was unlocked. Like, what?
Some random lab rat. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't say what I want to say.
I don't even know where you're trying to go
Some
with this.
random lab lackey that's just kind of hanging out. Like
lab lackey? That's what you're trying to say?
That was really, that's a lot. That's a
You're
mouthful.
like lab racky?
Hey, Witwicky.
But they go back to Science Place.
Yeah,
it turns out...
he explains that like this guy's experiment is what brought Howard to Earth.
They accidentally
we're going to reverse the process.
They're going to reverse the polarity.
Yeah, that doesn't go too well for them at all as they pull down one of the dark overlords of the universe.
Yeah, they try and bring Howard back home and reestablish this connection. And this is honestly, this movie had been going on so long, I'm like, oh, this is the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's like,
this is about halfway through the movie. I knew this was a 2-hour movie going into it. I thought it had been 2 hours.
It was a long 2 hours.
And they're like, oh no, we sucked something else down to Earth. I'm like, oh no, it's not the end.
And it's in Dr. Jeffries.
Yeah, and he just, boy, you can tell this movie was on a budget.
Oh
even
my
though
God.
they had a fair amount. Because they don't actually show what it looks like. Our villain just starts talking like this.
Oh, it's
for
bad.
about the next hour. I am the Dark Lord from the Dark Dimension.
I am the Dark Overlord of the universe. Dr. Jeffries is dead.
I'm just gonna make condiments explode, and then you know that I'm evil because
they end up at a place that is what was it, Cajun sushi?
Yeah, what? That's not a thing.
Well, it apparently is.
If it is, I actually want to try it.
Oh well, it's not for the weak of heart apparently.
No, because condiments will explode.
Could they
and
not
truckers
have,
will assault you.
Could they not have typecasted the people during this sequence anymore? By the way,
everyone just attacks Howard. Like he gets into like his I think we skipped a whole fight
But,
scene.
like-
He gets into like his third fight of the movie.
Oh yeah, well that's because they have to
Just
escape
keeps
from
hitting
the
guys.
cops. He's getting arrested.
Oh, that's like his fourth fight then.
Yeah.
He just hits guys with pies a bunch. They all just walk into it because I'm convinced that the actor in the duck suit couldn't
Yeah.
see what was
And
happening.
Leah Thompson's character totally commits a crime by assaulting a police officer and stealing his gun.
Oh, you skipped the part where this whole gang of people tries to decapitate Howard in a diner.
Well, this is the same scene.
Oh yeah.
We're getting there, but like they have the waitress who's just like totally ditzy, like, oh, don't worry about having a fight. They happen here all the time.
But anyway, Howard is not decapitated. That dark overlord steals Beverly for a reason.
But can we just point out that during this fight, Howard's go-to move
Pies.
is
Pies
to
to the
surprise
face.
people. But then he takes the bartender guy, gives him a bottle, and he breaks it, and like holds people at bay with this broken bottle.
It's a weird
What is
movie.
going on in this movie?
And then Tim Robbins shows up for some reason. And
He makes
instead of stealing a car, which was right there with the keys in it, they decide to assemble a plane.
Oh, but even before that, he's in the back of a cop car, and you know what he does? He crawls into the front seat, and out the front window.
And then Tim Robbins also
If I
opens
was
up the back
if I
door.
was a Cleveland police officer, I'd be very upset with how this portrayed me. Like as mad as like Chicago police officers probably were about the fact that they just got poorly abused in Blues Brothers.
Okay, that's where you're going with that.
Yes.
I got real worried for a second.
No, I was,
Did you see my face? Like,
Yeah. There was a look of concern. But think about how inept the Blues Brothers makes Chicago police look.
yeah, Howard crawls in the front seat, crawls out the window. Then Tim Robbins also opens up the back door just to show there was another escape route.
Yes.
But then they assemble a plane because that's
A little
less
like
conspicuous.
ultralight glider. And like it apparently will get them there quicker. And
It
then
wouldn't.
they're in a high-speed chase with the Cleveland police
Well, in
and
this
a hyper
plane-
glider.
Oh boy, is this movie over yet?
No.
Just recounting it.
I feel like recounting it is longer than watching the damn thing.
Well, in my
You
notes, I
skipped-
just wrote science guys, possession, plane, end.
Well, no, the science guy also who's possessed need energy. He breaks into a nuclear power plant and walks into the reactor.
You had some
But
big issues
not-
with this.
Not until after, like, not until before this, he's driving in this tractor trailer truck and sticks his tongue, in his weird space tongue, into the
It's like 6 feet long.
cigarette lighter to get energy.
Be-
And that wasn't good enough for him. Sometimes isn't good enough for my phone when I'm trying to charge it and drive. It's like, oh, weak charging. This guy couldn't charge up on the tractor trailer truck. He walks into and like, that's not how nuclear power works. That's not how it works at all. It's like you don't harness the nuclear reaction. You use the heat from the nuclear reaction to create steam to generate turbines. You don't harness the power of an atom splitting.
Look, the short version is then Howard, he turns into a terrible stop motion creature. Howard gets a big gun and kills him, and Howard is stuck on Earth.
Yes, because he has to blow up the laser because of the other dark overlords are coming.
And then you think the movie would be done. They've beaten the villain.
Oh no.
Did
No.
we forget to mention that Howard became the manager for the cherry bombs
Yes, after assaulting and robbing people earlier in the movie.
in the manager?
I would like to go back and like tabulate how many crimes Howard commits.
So many. I mean, crimes against humanity,
And the
certainly.
people associate. There's an amendment in the Constitution against cruel and unusual punishment. However, this was not the worst movie we've watched for the show.
So Howard goes and we hear the cherry bombs play one final song. So literally last week,
the song is called Howard the Duck.
but I don't think I talked about this on the show. When I was listening to the new Guardians soundtrack, they have a new original song about the Guardians.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, why do we shy away from this? Like, Will Smith used to rap about every movie he was in. Why do we shy away from movie-related songs? And then I heard Howard the Duck. I'm like, oh, right, this is why.
This is a
Stop
good-
doing that. Let's do this sparingly at best.
Yes.
The Guardians one is good. Howard the Duck.
And he gets pushed on stage with an electric guitar and plays it.
He is a stupid
Some urban legend and some like facts about this movie, by the way.
That second line wasn't part of it, but it should have been.
It wasn't. I'm sorry to tell you. This movie, like, it bombed badly.
It cherry bombed.
It did recoup its money. It made just over $1 million in the box office. It's like worldwide what it had to come back to. Interesting factoids about this movie. Let's see. It was optioned by Universal Studios, and there was a strong feeling that the movie should have been animated at the time. Probably should have. After it came out, are you ready for this? There was a fist fight between two studio executives about who greenlit this project because it flopped so bad with test audiences. And they're like, I can't believe that we are going to let this movie get out there. Also, Leah Thompson, she was cast in the role, not just because of her appearance in Back to the Future. She purchased clothing from a thrift store because she wanted to appear at the audition as a, quote, cross between Madonna and Cyndi Lauper. That's how bad that is. This film was nominated for a bunch of Golden Razzies. 7. It won Golden Raspberries for Worst Screenplay, it tied Worst Picture, it had Worst Visual Effects, and it had Worst New Star, which went to the 6 guys and gals who played the duck suit.
Who are also of varying heights.
Yes.
This movie's no good. It's not even... Some of the movies we've watched are like...
novelty items.
They're so bad, they're fun. This one is so bland, it's bland. It's not
just like...
It's not worth watching. It's not even worth watching for like the novelty value of it. It's just...
You asked a great question. You're like...
You can watch the first 6 minutes. Once you pass like the nude quackers, you can turn it off.
Once you get to Earth.
Yeah, once you get off the duck planet.
Which, by the way, it has the double moon, which is kind of like an homage to the double sun on
They also
Tatooine.
had like a Raiders of the Lost Ark poster.
Yes,
there.
they did. There was some heavy... It's like we're like half hour and you're like, what's the plot? What's the story they're trying to tell?
I think I said that around the sex brothel hot tub scene.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
There's no real, there's no story to tell. If it had been like some sort of adventure that he went on, that'd be great. But he's pretty much just like running from the law for 2 hours.
In a plane with Tim Robbins.
Yeah. We obviously now know what Andy Dufresne's thing that he was going to do when he left Shawshank was. Go to Mexico and build an ultralight and run from the cops again.
Oh, there was no Rita Hayworth in this movie.
No, there was not. There was that naked duck, though.
Oh, God.
And Leah Thompson hopping around in underwear and a bra, trying to have sex with a duck.
Oh, God. So on our patented rating system of see it in theaters, Redbox it, or I guess in this case it, Amazon Prime it,
or
YouTube
it.
Don't waste your time, I'm giving this a solid don't waste your time.
Yeah, I'm going to lean that way.
I'd never seen this movie. I was hoping going into it was going to be dumb fun. It wasn't even fun.
It was dumb.
It was very dumb, I feel.
It just was like the movie tried too hard to take it seriously and it couldn't do it. It was just like, maybe if you're like really sick and bored, maybe, but it just, I don't know. The movie just didn't do it for me.
Yeah, so Marvel's first outing into the cinematic world.
It was not very good.
Check plus, check minus. You get a check minus.
Ooh, remember in school if you get like a check minus? That was like...
That's actually what killed my academic effort in school.
You were probably that kid that would like put the line through like the minus and make it look like a check plus.
No, I can identify the exact moment I stopped trying in school. It's unfortunately my very first high school assignment.
Wow.
Like an assignment over the summer going into freshman year, they were like, do this thing. And I spent days on this one like project and hours and hours and hours. And we went in, and there were some people like, oh yeah, I just threw this together a few minutes ago. And then the teacher gave it back to us and it was on the check plus, check minus system. I'm like, and I'm done.
Wow.
I have learned what effort gives.
Did you get a check plus?
I think so, but so did people who spent 20 minutes on it.
Well,
and I spent days and
so
hours.
Really what you should have learned was that work smarter, not harder.
I don't know which one I did, but I definitely stopped trying after literally assignment 1.
In one subject.
Oh yeah, it was literally my first grade in high school. I'm like, what the hell? No, I'm done.
And look at you now.
Now I'm a CEO.
Listen, we've discussed this before. Like, I remember the day you're like, hey, guess what? I am now officially a corporation. I'm like, you're like the lemonade stand of corporations, okay? You're not a multi-million-dollar titan of industry.
No, I'm a limited corporation and a liability.
Oh, you're limited in many ways. As well a liability. They got one thing right about you. You are limited and a liability.
Well, even that was so weird. They're like, what do you want to be? I'm like, that honestly, it's a weird choice. You have to be like, what kind of a corporation are you? I'm like,
I think your answer of astronaut was probably not very endearing to the people trying to set up your corporation. Hi, Zach. What would you like to be? An astronaut. Listen, we're trying to help you build a company here.
It was a weird thing. Like, what kind of a corporation are you? I'm like, the kind that makes money?
Oh.
And then it turns out that wasn't even true.
You've been better off being a non-profit.
I remember when I was handing out like flyers for the Great Ability, are you a non-profit? I'm like, not much. They're like, it's not the answer we need. I'm like, okay, fine.
I'm all about profit, yes.
Like, ideally, but we're moving on to. Oh, do you want to do the thing?
No, I've decided.
Letters
to
Ew.
this. No, this is dumb.
The
editors.
I don't like that.
No, then why did you bring it up? And then why I said no, and then you're like, oh, let's try it.
I tried to placate you.
Theme
song or theme thing. It's not a song.
Now for my favorite part of the show. What did I say? Talk to the audience. Oh, God, this is always dead.
Here's another one of your letters to the editors.
You're trying to placate me, but you won't wear my best friend necklace. It's a real mixed message there, Zach. A real mixed message.
I don't want my plastic heart. You got it from a quarter machine.
It is not plastic. It's silver plastic.
So,
which we all know means that we're the best of friends.
I was had an interesting question posed to me this week. So I
swear to God, if you're wearing someone else's best friend necklace, I'm going to break your neck.
So, the X-Men hero Iceman?
Yes, I am aware of him.
His mode of transportation is ice slides.
Yes.
He slides all around. He
Kinda
shoots some ice out in front of him. He slides
kind
right
of
along.
like Samuel L. Jackson's character in the Incredibles.
Like Frozone? Was that it?
Yes, I believe so.
But he has a
woman. Where is my super suit?
Did you see? What was it on? What's the one that James Corden does?
Oh, the late night show, the late show.
But yeah, he has like actors like performing their entire career. Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson had one that was really good.
His was good. Tom Hanks's was good.
So yeah, I think I saw all of them.
Yeah,
they're really funny. Not why we're here. So Iceman shoots out his ice slides, and that's his mode of transportation. Very handy.
Yeah, very lugy.
It's very cool runnings of him.
Oh wow, the nice deep pull there. Jamaica has a bobsled team,
and John Candy has one of his last acting roles.
The Iceman cometh.
Yeah.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
I saw that movie in theaters.
You paid money to see that in theaters?
No, my papa did.
Oh.
I was too young.
When did you actually last time pay money out of your pocket to see a movie?
Literally every movie I go to.
Well, this the last few we've been to, you've had gift cards.
Oh, those were like Christmas presents.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah.
I spend my hard-earned dollar on these movies.
So Iceman, we're getting so detracted. Iceman has his ice slides.
Yes, he does.
Moves along, mode of transportation, uses them often in fights. What happens to those ice slides?
It's so the question is what happens after he kind of goes by?
Well,
it depends on the weather. If it's really hot out, I'm sure they just kind of melt. If not, then the public works department has to come out and salt them down, I guess.
I feel like he's called millions of dollars in property damages just with falling ice, and he's probably killed hundreds of people. Just of these falling ice slides from nowhere.
Well, how high up in the air are these ice slides?
Pretty high.
Well, it probably melts on its way down. It's not like giant hail blocks.
That's kind of what I picture. I feel like just giant chunks break off.
So you're just saying that this guy is just real murdery on accident?
Yeah, I'm saying Iceman has caused millions of dollars in property damages, probably killed hundreds of people.
Maybe Storm follows him around and takes care of business behind him. Oh, I gotta melt it.
But someone asked that. I was kind of looking I don't know.
I want to introduce you to a phrase that you should be familiar with if you are into comic books or movies. It's called suspension of disbelief.
I thought you were salt that ice.
Or just if you're a real fan of comic books, well, you should know the phrase "salt that ice."
You might not be aware of the lesser-known X-Men hero Saltman.
Saltman. Yeah.
Who follows Iceman around.
He's got one job. He's interviewing with Charles. Hey, what's your power? Well, I can throw down some salt. Oh, cool. This is Iceman.
We're actually going to need you on this team.
Iceman just kind of floats around and causes these giant ice bridges of death. Could you help us out?
We don't need you in the main battle, but cleanup, you are going to be so handy.
And listen, we're going to also, if we need a little something in the food, just kind of, go down there. Bam, there we go.
Look, if I come up to you with a margarita, you know what to do.
Yeah, rim it.
Yes, rim it.
That's what it's called. You rim the drink.
Just keep on rimming.
Well, I mean, only if you wear my
friendship necklace. But I don't think it really matters in the comic book world, but that's all I can think about is all of these ice slides dropping and killing people.
Suspension of disbelief. That's the phrase you need to think of.
They evaporate slowly. I don't know. I think Iceman is a murderer. Is my answer.
That's an interesting question.
An inadvertent murderer.
I'm gonna say that the kids of the community like get a free ice slide for a little bit
on a hot summer day. We appreciate him.
Yeah, it like drops into your pool and knocks it down a few degrees. Be nice if it like fell into your drink though. You're like, oh man, my drink is really warm. I'd like some. Oh look, Iceman. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah. So if a piece of ice falls from 100 feet and lands in your drink, I feel like your glass is gonna break.
Well, that's unfortunate. And then your drink's gonna spill, and now he's ruining your drink. He's ruining your picnic.
Broken glass everywhere. Even your best case scenario ends with broken glass.
Yeah, like a skylight or something. He goes by and his ice lands on your pet.
So that's what we have now. Iceman is a murderer.
Well, thanks.
So it is written. I don't know.
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Yeah,
that's the phrase.
Things I said count for literally nothing.
It's canon now.
Because I am a Marvel editor.
A marvelous editor. Well,
that's the show.
Well, I feel like you've ruined Iceman for a lot of people. I feel like we
disillusioned.
That is like the perfect murder weapon, though. If you think about like an icicle.
That was in Lovely Bones.
I know.
Oh,
I think I've heard this from somebody. Think about it, though. If you like stab somebody with an icicle to death, it melts.
Yes, the murder weapon goes away. This is not a murder positive podcast. We've talked about a lot.
This is not serial.
But you can find the show over on editorsnotecomics.com on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We also have a Patreon. I haven't been pushing this enough.
Yes.
Hey, we're going to have some exclusive content coming soon, like probably in the next 2 weeks. If you throw $1 a month our way, you get this show a day early. My other show, The Buffy Back Issue Bin, a whole week early, which comes out every Tuesday. And I'm going to try... I got to actually give it I guess it means I need to try for next week to give it a test run. But to try and have a video review up of Guardians of the Galaxy when we do that.
Also,
or possibly later if I can't get it.
We're in the pre-planning stages of maybe a Patreon video of me going to my first con.
And then your plan of, we should do a live show in the store. You know how many people said, do it?
3.
Oh, God. So of the hundreds of listeners we have, do you know how many people were like, good idea?
2?
1.
Hey!
There's just one guy far away. Do it!
Yeah. He's like, yeah, let's go. I want to see this.
Like so many people want to see that.
I think that the early planning stages we have of me going to my first con and videotaping it, that'd be kind of fun. That'd be Patreon-esque.
You could add that to the Patreon.
Yeah, we could.
But yeah,
like a video
it's
diary.
$1. We give you hours of content. Give us $1. Come on. You're not going to know it's $1.
In reality, you're giving Zach $1.
Yes, to be fair.
To be fair.
You know who's going to notice that $1? Me.
Yeah, because that $1 then directly translates into a box of macaroni and cheese every Tuesday for me.
But yeah, Patreon, $1 a month. And if you haven't, please rate, review, subscribe on iTunes. Hey to all you new folk.
Welcome to the show.
Good.
We know that we have people listening in like Houston, Texas area, Austin, Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the show.
I don't know. You're on Twitter.
I am on Twitter
plugs?
at Junior Rich.
I think the other show is going to overtake this one very soon.
Well, it's a very niche show.
It's also like only like 100 people behind this one.
Oh.
I feel like this is going to become the side show sooner rather than later.
It was only a matter of time. I'm taking back the friendship necklace.
No, we got to build our numbers. This thumbnail of duck boobs will help.
Yes. There's going to be a bunch of like teenage perverts looking for some porn on the internet, and they're going to come across this picture of duck boobs.
I censored it.
And they're going to be really upset.
That was more appropriate.
They're going to be like, why the hell is this guy censoring duck boobs on the internet?
Jesus. We'll be back next week for more Guardians of the Galaxy 2 prep.
And duck boobs.
No more of those. God, no, there's none of those in what we're doing next week. Hopefully Guardians won't have those either. What a deep cut that would be.
That would be incredible.
Actually, God, I can't believe I'm saying the sentence.
Are you kind of rooting for it?
I kind of want to see more duck boobs.
That's the note to end the show on right there, if I've ever heard one. We'll see you next week.